Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suhei with Suhei Plans, and today I'm wanted to share with you kind of a chattier video about how I'm doing with my 2024 Power Sheets. I don't think I've posted a video on this since I got the planner right before the new year. And so I thought I would share what's been going on, how I'm feeling about it. And I'm sure that any minute now, there will be plans for the 2025 release. The good news for everyone is that I am in this planner, haven't put it down. Some months I think I've been more active than others, but for the most part, I am actively using Power Sheets for this year. So let's kind of jump in, flip through it, and I'll kind of share my thoughts and my observations and kind of what I've been doing in my Power Sheets. So, find your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's jump in. So for those of you who don't know, Power Sheets is a goal planning product by Cultivate What Matters. They are like a brand planner shop, business company that has a kind of a plethora of products, but they are really focused on goal setting, very much women empowerment focused. And just as a disclaimer, I am an affiliate. I became an affiliate shortly after the 2024 Power Sheets was released because I thought that it was a really great version of Power Sheets and a big improvement from 2023. And unless things change for the worse, I intend to continue to be an affiliate for 2025. So let's jump in. The cover has held up well. Some dents, and maybe not as pristine as when I first got it, but for the most part, holding up really well. I kind of keep things related to my goals in here. This is like a credit card statement from last year that I'm using to compare credit card spending this year. So whatever you kind of want, you can keep in this pocket. So I've been really faithful to the system. I always do the prep work in reflecting on where I am, where I want to go. So that's kind of old news. I'm always active and I always do the prep work in setting my goals. These are kind of the first iteration of my goals. I think that went well. I made some tabs to help me kind of quickly refer to my goals for the year. There's like a goal action plan page for every goal for the year. And I think I did like 5 or 6 goals, but there's room for more. So one thing that I can say right away is that I never really went back into my goal action plans and filled out notes for seasons 2, 3, and 4. We're towards the end of season 3, and I didn't really fill these parts out. And that's something that I do want to do, but because it's kind of in the front matter of the book, I feel like I do forget. So for 2025, I want to focus on maybe making it part of my quarterly refresh routine to come back and fill in what I'm doing in these sections. But otherwise, definitely used. And then there's a few blank, and I really try to be real with myself. Just because you have all of these rooms for all of these goals doesn't mean you need to use them. Kind of use the overlay view pretty well. 2024 word of the year, filled that in. So something that I realize now is that in my personal rings planner, I also have my vision board, and I've also been writing down all the different kind of ways in which I've been implementing the word nourish, or kind of living out the word nourish in the year. And I think I want to do that next year in my Power Sheets. Let me show you what I mean by that. So I created like a vision board for 2024, and I can definitely just size this and also stick it in my Power Sheets. And something I've also been doing in my personal planner is anytime I feel like I've lived out the word nourish, I've been putting examples of that on this sheet. And I think I want to do that as well in my power sheets. Because I think it's important to be able to identify where in your year you're living out the word of the year. Power Sheets does come with a card that it's up on my board, but it's like a card where you also write down the word of the year. And I really like the idea of focusing on a word, really kind of living that out as best you can in a particular year. And I think I would like to add these examples into my power sheets for next year. I don't think it hurts to have it in my personal rings as well, but I also think it would be a good idea to have in my power sheets. So those are two things that I want to try to do differently for 2025. But for 2024, it's blank. All right. Routine reset. January. The beginning of the year is always really motivating, right? We're feeling excited, fresh, we want to see better for ourselves in the new year. So I think the couple of first months in the power sheets are very well loved. Using it, no problems, kind of in those early months of the year, feeling very motivated. One thing I find is that I don't really use the monthly spread. I made some changes to the month of August, but in the early half of the year, I really wasn't using the spread very much. But I was doing my tending list, and I'll stop really quickly and just say your tending list is where you focus on goals for the month by doing a monthly, weekly, and daily breakdown. What are the kind of actions you need to do this month in these 4 weeks and in every day to get towards the goals that you set out for the month, for that particular month? So tending list is something that I've been actively using, keeping up with. And I love the month in review that comes right after. You'll always see me fill these guys out. I really enjoy that, reflecting on the month. March is another one. Again, didn't use that monthly, but still very active with my goal planning and tracking and reflecting. This is where I got to the first quarterly refresh. And I actually, each quarter you're doing some prep work and thinking about what the next season or what the next 3 months will be like. And I did refresh my goals at the March point. And what's really awesome is that my goals did change from when I first set them out for the year. I think you'll see that I have fewer. And I kind of rearranged some things. And that's something that I really love about Power Sheets. You're constantly engaged with your goals. You're really thinking about what you want to work on. You're really intentional about them. And you kind of reflect on how the first quarter of the year went. And then you make changes accordingly. Let me kind of show you an example. So I started the year off with a fitness goal where I wanted to build a better booty, right? Or my glutes. That's a great goal. Who doesn't love a great derriere? I certainly do. So that's something that I wanted to focus on for the year. But the months of January, February, March went on, and I realized that that's not really the goal that I wanted. Yes, it's a wonderful thing, but I kind of got real with myself. I really thought about how I was putting that goal into practice or how I was working on it. And I realized, what? While that is a great goal in theory, when I actually put that to work in the first months of the year, I realized that I needed to shift. And the goal instead became just to overall increase my focus on eating well and getting active. How am I going to build this perfect booty if I am just not even focused on eating properly or being active on a regular basis, right? I really need to reframe my thinking, thought about what really mattered, right? And I really did a 360 on that goal for the year, but for the better. And I really do believe that Power Sheets the beauty of Powersheets is that you're constantly working on them, and you can really figure out like what matters, what is something you actually want to work on, what are the benefits of the things that you want to work on. And that's something that I really discovered in using Powersheets for those first couple of months. So I really appreciate that there's also that quarterly review so that you can rethink your goals moving forward. I realized that I didn't really use the weekly rhythm ideas page, which is where you're supposed to kind of like create your ideal schedule for the new season that you're in a 5 to 10 p.m. time frame. And I think I didn't really use this because my schedule doesn't really change from March into April. And so what I think I want to do for 2025 is I want to use this spreadsheet for like the seasons where my routines need to shift. So, you know, the year is spread up into 4 quarters, January, February, March. But for me, my schedule doesn't change in April, or the routines don't change in April. They change in around the end of May, June, when school is out. So what I want to do is, instead of being so literal about these pages, because that's why I didn't use them, because I was being too literal about them. What I want to do is I want to use there are 4 spreads in the book. So I want to use one for January, February, March, April, May, where my routines and my schedule is pretty much the same. Then I want to use a second spread for June and July, which is total summertime for both work and my kids. I want to use a third spread for August, September, October, November. And then I want to use, because that's again back to school, in the grind, in the rhythm. And then I want to use one more daily spread for December, because I take a lot of time off in that month, and you know, we're all on holiday. So it would make more sense for me to use these 4 spreads for those chunks of my life, because that's how my schedule changes. But I was thinking about it super literally, and so I didn't use them, but that's a change that I want to make for 2025. All right, so April, we're still in it, still not using the monthly spread, but still doing my tending list, focusing on monthly goals, doing daily tracking, and I always love a month in review. Okay, May. So let me be real, and as we enter June is summertime. June is when work slows down, and so I was feeling a lot less motivated to goal plan, to follow up on my goals. And, you know, I still made an effort, but definitely things really slowed down, and I think that's okay. I think, you know, like, it's exhausting to constantly work on your goals, no matter what they are. But, you know, it does take consistency, you know, but it's okay to have periods of the year that are less ambitious than others. And June and July are definitely those months for me. That doesn't mean that I didn't continue doing my month in review, or, you know, I continue to refresh my goals. I'm still working on my goals, right? It's just kind of the effort ebbs and flows. I think I continued with my goals. You know, after those first 3 months, I didn't really change my goals. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign. But I'm glad I did it early in the year. But I kept moving ahead. Again, a missed opportunity with these weekly rhythm page. And we move into July. I kind of think about using the monthly spread a little bit more, but still not really utilized. And kind of a lull. As you'll see, not a lot of color, not a lot going on. Let me compare to a month that I felt very motivated. So here's March. Let me kind of see if I can do this. So here's March. Very motivated, very active, lots of things I want to do. There's July. Not a lot of color, not a lot of things I'm tracking, not a lot of things I'm focusing on. And that's okay, because some months are just going to be like that. I think what's really important is that I just kept going. I just kept using my Powersheets. All right. And then I think August is similar. Sorry. August is similar in that, you know, kind of like getting back into the routine, not a lot of colors, not doing a lot of things, and that's okay. I do feel like I'll find more motivation for September. One thing that I did make a change for in August and how I was using the monthly spread, I'm doing some tracking in here, keeping track of some stationary spending, especially as we move into planner season. So trying to see if that works. And I did redate this planner because I really do prefer a Monday start when I'm looking at a calendar. And here is August. We're still in the midst of August, so we're still working on all of these things. But as you can see, just a little bit less effort than some of the other months, and that's okay. And so there are still a couple of months left in the year, and I have no doubts that I'm going to continue to keep working in my power sheets. Let's kind of see if I flip back to my refresh goals in March, probably at the end of March, yeah. So I have felt like I've made a lot of progress on my goals since using Powersheets, and some things I've made more progress on than others. I think that the level of intention that I've had is awesome, and I do owe a lot of that to this planner. It's not about, you know, acing everything all the time or every week or every day, but it's just kind of staying on the horse. And I really love Powersheets for that reason. I feel like it helps me stay on the horse. Sorry if you hear my kids screaming and yelling in the background. That's what they do. So some things that I want to try differently, I mentioned a few already for 2025, but some things I also want to think about is I love the month in review. As you can see, like I never fail to do my month in review. Like that is always happening. No matter what happens, I'm always doing my month in review. What I want to try is figuring out a way that I can do a weekly review and recap my progress on a weekly basis. Maybe not a daily reflection, but I think a weekly reflection would be very feasible and I'd be very excited about doing. So for 2025, I am looking, I'm very confident I'll continue in Powersheets, but I'm also thinking about how can I incorporate more like weekly review, weekly reflection into my goal setting system. There are some weekly planners sold by Cultivate What Matters and some weekly focused products that I'm going to be looking at and thinking about for the new year. I just think that the monthly reflection is great. And in your tending list, you do work on weekly actions, right? That you're constantly checking off. But I would really like to reflect on a weekly basis. Let's see if I can show you an example. Let me look for a not so great week. Let me go to June, because that's when the lazy kicks in. Okay, so in June, I only successfully worked out twice a week, 1 week that entire month. I would have loved to go back and read a reflection on each of those weeks of the year. I think that there's sometimes a lot happening in our lives that we don't, that kind of it happens, we move on, but I would love to go back and read why I could just not get it together for weeks 2, 3, and 4 in June with regards to working out. Was my energy low? Were things happening at work? I would have loved to have a space for some weekly reflection, especially for those goals that, so that I can reflect on those goals that really didn't go my way, right? Things that I set out for the week that did not go my way. I would have loved to have a weekly reflection for that, right? So in July, those last couple of weeks of the year, I'm pretty sure we were doing just some travel then, but it would be nice to have a space where I can reflect on each week in addition to the monthly reflection. I think I would be a little less hard on myself, that maybe I didn't make as much progress. And 2, I think it would be helpful in kind of setting weekly goals and monthly goals in the future, the more that I kind of learn about myself and how I work on my goals, the more reflection, I think the better we can get at doing that. And so that is how things are going in Powersheets. They're going great. I'm really enjoying it. Let's see. Let me think about my goals really quickly. I've definitely made progress on some of my goals more than others. I would have to say that the goal that I've probably made the least progress on is unfortunately my health and fitness. But I've made a lot of other progress in other areas. So that is a really good thing. And again, it is not about, I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to achieve your goals with Powersheets. What I am, maybe guarantee is still too strong of a word, but I do feel confident that Powersheets has helped me stay on the horse. It has helped me keep going. And when you keep going, you keep working on them, you'll inevitably have positive results. So if nothing else, I really appreciate Powersheets for helping me stay on the horse. I've really made progress on some goals, some more than others, but I really do think Powersheets has kept me on the horse, which is really important. And so that's kind of how 2024 Powersheets is going. I would love to hear your thoughts on if you're using Powersheets, where you are. If you're not familiar with this planner, I'd love to answer any questions that you might have. Just drop them in the comments below. And I'll also have my affiliate link. I don't believe that there are any more Powersheets available for 2024, but I'm sure we'll be seeing some 2025 releases very soon. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give me, don't hesitate to give me a like, a follow, or a subscribe. I truly appreciate your support. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.